that you see being made?
Well, one of the big ones really is it's important to have other people in your life that you can talk to about finances. I would say, in the last couple of years, it's been a wild ride in the stock market. When COVID started, things went down really hard and it was really scary. If you can remember what that was like a little bit more than 2 years ago. And, I knew some people that said, all right, I'm just pulling everything out of the stock market, and, didn't tell anybody about it, probably didn't tell their family members about it. And then, a year later looked at the stock market and went, wait, what just happened? I thought it was all bad, when the market totally recovered in that time period and then some, and then they thought, oh man, I got to get back in. And then a year later, we have interest rates going up and stocks going back down. And then the same thing happens over again. So I think this is one of those kind of tendencies humans have sometimes, is we get scared and we don't have a good strategy necessarily. And we pull out at the bottom. And then when things are good, maybe we get back in. That's a problem. So it's good to have friends, financial planners in your life that really help you with that, because it's like, wait, if we have a strategy and a plan, we accounted for this, right? We accounted for this moment.
So
This is not,
just to be
you
clear,
know,
you don't like buy high, sell low.
no, absolutely not. It's not a good strategy to buy at the top of the market and sell at the bottom, right? Exactly. And I mean, that's the thing you see happening sometimes. So
Yeah.
so it's good to have like people in your life that you can talk to about it. If you have friends, you should just have friends that you talk to about these things, right? Finances can be taboo, but I find the more that you can talk to friends about it, the more you can talk to family members about it, the better, for you and for other people. And hey, can you help me? Like, I may have a bias, in this. Can you just like listen to what I'm saying about this? And what do you think? And then gathering information can be really critical to try to avoid some of those big mistakes. Those are some of the big ones.
To me, it speaks to the importance of, you hear that phrase often about you are kind of the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and the importance of finding people who are kind of clicked on or switched on financially as well, and making sure you're bouncing those ideas. I love the idea of talking to people, but particularly people who may be a little bit ahead of you or have had some success financially, not just your Aunt Susan who doesn't know what's going on financially, right? But
Absolutely. It's like,
yeah.
totally, if your goal is to retire early and be financially free, it's like, find someone who is and go talk to them and say, how did you do this?
Yes.
And say, and like, I want to know specifics. Like, I'm going to buy you a cup of coffee and I'm going to talk your ear off for an hour, and then say, hey, if you don't mind, I'm going to buy you another cup of coffee a few months down the road. And I'm sure they're going to say, yes, absolutely. Right. Because, they want to share. There's more cooperativity than there is competition, I think, for something like that. So
yeah,
that's key.
Finding mentors is one of the big things we always find ourselves coming back to as we talk to experts in their fields. That's one of the common themes said over and over, is find someone who's at least a few steps ahead of you, learn what they did and copy. I mean, rather than reinvent the wheel, just find out from them. And a lot of times, again, if you're finding the right people, they're going to want to help you and kind of pull you along as well. And it really helps having somebody who's been there and done it, rather than just throwing shots in the dark and guessing.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's such a truth. I think you're absolutely spot on. And, part of that is because the information we gather today, a lot of times when we just look on the internet for something, you can get a lot of different ideas, a lot of different resources. But, if somebody's walked the path, and they can show you, then that's really helpful. Having somebody who's walked the path and who knows, what it looks like, and they can say from the other side, hey, that's a good idea. That's probably not a great idea. And obviously, it's hard to say if anything's going to be a good idea. Nobody has a crystal ball, but they can speak in their own terms about what worked for them and how it might stir an imagination for somebody else. So